About the corruption of our youth by OFSTED and the educational establishment who are leftist. The temporary chair of OFSTED is clearly an Islamist, pushing the Sharia law agenda of the Islamists and the unhealthy alliance there is between Islamists and the radical left. Now, just to be clear, I don't have a problem with Muslims. Muslims in some countries, like India, like some of the Caucasian states, the Caucasus states, that's where the name comes from, by the way, in parts of Malaysia, Muslims and Christians live side by side in peace because the Muslims accept that they're not going to impose their law on other people. So let that be clear. But in our schools, we have a Sharia law leftist agenda going on. And that's why I can no longer work in UK. I mean, honestly, what I think shows on my face. I can be saying, yes, I think Keir Starmer's okay, but it's obvious I'm lying, or I'm just having to say it. What's happening in our schools is they're having these British assemblies. We've all got to be British and we've all got to get on with each other. And honestly, you look around and the kids are like going, because they're polite. They're very polite. Kids from foreign cultures are much better to teach, by the way, because they're much more polite. But they're obviously like just politely listening. It goes in one ear, it goes out the other. Now, again, my beloved India, you know, we know you go to the cricket and you support India, but that is actually your culture. Now, like it or lump it, you've never heard of Lord Krishna and something blowing up. But if I said that in my British school, I'd be sacked. That's why I don't want to work in a British school. I don't want to go anywhere near the filthy place because, you know, you get PE teachers running schools. Now, the PE teacher goes, oh, there's some kids who are being, you know, they're too scared to go out in the corridor. They may get pushed. Excuse me? Do you realise what I had to put up with when I was at school? I mean, God, you know, it was like, especially when you were in grade 6. I mean, bloody hell. You know, it's like, it's just pathetic. And of course, the other thing that's happening in our schools is Islamic radicalization. What is going on is that Pakistani students are running around with their Islamist friends and they are forcing kids to convert. That is happening in our schools. I can tell you 100%. And so what is now happening is that people are then going into Bobism and all other kind of nonsense in a vain effort to stop this tide. I don't know whether the tide can be turned. I recently went to Windsor because I wanted to see Trump. I mean, I did actually want to see him in person. He's actually one of the only leaders I've actually not seen in person. I've seen Charles in person, William, I saw Elizabeth, seen the King in person. And actually, TV's so good these days, they don't actually look that different. So you would imagine Trump doesn't look that different. But the thing is with Trump is he's got mana. Now, again, you'd have to look that up. It's a New Zealand term. He's got that sort of air of authority about him that, rightly or wrongly, Tony Blair had it. Rightly or wrongly, Cameron had it. Yeah? You know, they had that sort of, they acted and they had the characteristic of a leader, rightly or wrongly. I don't think we've had one since. I think Sunak could have grown into it had he not had Johnson and Truss to be associated with. But our schools are turning to shit. If you think, oh yeah, what happened in Windsor was a mob of students descended on me. This was a mob. Now, I know one of my viewers also saw this. It's a joke. And they started up with the free Palestine, all their tropes. Palestine is not a country, it's not a people, it's not a language, it's not a currency, it's nothing. It was made up by the KGB. You can look this up. A lot of anti-Semitism came from Soviet Russia, sadly. And in the 1960s, the Russians decided that they wanted to back the Arab cause. And they said, look, at the moment, you look like a load of Arabs picking on tiny little Israel. Well, just invent the Palestinian myth. The Palestinian identity is a hoax. It is a hoax. The keffiyeh is a terrorist emblem. Now, some of my Jewish friends asked me what was I doing with a Palestinian flag and a pride flag on the same pole. Well, because they don't go well together. Israel is the only country which supports LGBT rights, rightly or wrongly, whether you disagree or not. So, let's get real here. Our schools are now controlled by the radical left. 100%. Backed up by Ofsted. If you say to a kid, look, get your balls chopped off, have an operation, and, society will treat you better, I would get fired. Yeah? Probably actually quite rightly for saying you. I mean, honestly, I met one of these creeps. I actually had to work in the area temporarily. So I looked to rent a room. And I met Sophie. And, Sophie goes, "Hello, James." And I was thinking, nice pair of tits, Sophie. There's this bloke in a dress with a pair of tits. Yeah? That's what Sophie was. Now, actually, I've used her real name, which is, being politically incorrect, James. I'm not in UK. And this whole thing is a joke. Now, okay, this video may be a bit inflammatory, just a bit. But the country is falling apart before our eyes. We need a party of law and order. In our schools, we should be teaching them to write. We should be teaching them to add up. Oh, but by the way, maths is racist. Scheissenhausen, you're even going at maths. The English department is now listen to Bob Dylan and everything will be okay, man. You can't make this up. My eyes are actually getting angry just even thinking about this stuff. We have the woke agenda being pushed in our schools. We have the Palestinian lie being pushed in our schools. And you'll go, oh no, we're equal to both causes. No, listen. As soon as you say the words that the Palestinians are a people and that they have a legitimate claim to the land, you are pushing a lie. If you say the Jewish people have a claim to the land, 3,000 years old, were promised it by the international community twice, and now living it, yeah? Okay, the Germans do not like the fact they lost Danzig. Some of them haven't really gotten over it, but you never hear about freedom for Danzig, do you? No. There is a fact that a tiny minority of Arabs were displaced, but yet this agenda is being pushed through our schools, both formally and informally. And we now have a radicalized youth who Keir Starmer has given the vote to. The only thing I hope, and the polling data suggests it, is that 16 to 18-year-olds see the bullshit that is being taught in their schools. They see the bullshit that is coming out of our politically correct teachers' mouths, and they go, I'm not having a bar of this. I'm voting for Farage. Now, Farage has a big responsibility on his shoulders if he's going to be the next Prime Minister. Because, trust me, number 10 is becoming like the Big Brother house. And I've seen these lefties going, why do you keep pandering to Farage? Which is not pandering to Farage. We don't want these people coming over on flipping boats. They're not. And it was Thatcher, our last great Prime Minister. You see, look, only James could have a biography of Maggie and Harold Larwood on the same shelf. And actually, the Harold Larwood story is an interesting one. I'll finish with that one. But the free thinking, free expression, freedom of thought is no longer the case in our schools. And that's why I had to leave. I couldn't put up with it anymore. Oh, you're being Islamophobic, James. No, I'm not. Répétez-vous, s'il vous plaît. My French is shite. I am not against Muslims. I am against the vile nation of Pakistan, which illegally occupies half of Kashmir. I am against the nation of Pakistan, which destabilizes the entire region. Yeah? Pakistan is an evil country full of evil people. Yeah? Okay, there are some good Pakistanis. But by and large, what has Pakistan ever given the world? Grooming gangs, they cheat at cricket. Get back to you on anything good. The only good thing is that Imran Khan, who did cheat at cricket, watched the 92 World Cup. England were absolutely decimated. Okay, Wasim Akram was a good bowler, but when you've basically scoured the ball with a bottle top, it will reverse swing. So anyway, end of political correctness is to have a real go. I think it's a biography, not an autobiography. I know Ofsted trained kids will have to look up the difference. I couldn't actually find the autobiography of Maggie here, so might have to get Kindle. It's probably centred on Kindle. Harold Larwood typifies the problem of the class system in Britain. We need to get rid of it really fast because it's dying. Harold Larwood was possibly England's greatest ever fast bowler. And he single-handedly, with Vos, won the Ashes for England with a plan devised by Douglas Jardine. Douglas Jardine told Larwood to bowl Bodyline. Famous series. It's coming up to the 100th year anniversary. It's upset the Australians, and there's a certain amount of double standards there. And then the stuck-up, pathetic British authorities, does this sound familiar, told Larwood to apologise. And Larwood said, no, I'm not. I wasn't told to. I did not devise the Bodyline plan. The Bodyline plan, for anyone who doesn't understand cricket, is that Larwood was told to bowl sort of at the rib cage area so that then the batter, oh my God, I'm being politically correct, the batsman would basically fend the ball off and there would be a ring of fielders there to catch. That's now been, the fielding position has now been outlawed, but fast bowling hasn't. Harold Larwood was not responsible. He was just doing what his captain said. This typifies the weak, willy British establishment. And what we're doing, this is the final throes of it. We are pandering to an ideology that comes from one of our former colonies. We need to start uniting with our Indian friends. We need to start uniting with our Nigerian friends. We need to start uniting and saying we want freedom of thought. We want freedom of expression. We want to basically make sure that you, our Nigerians, our Indians, and maybe the one or two decent Pakistanis, that we want freedom in this country. I've left and I feel safer here. And that's end of rant for today. And it's not a rant. I'm absolutely sick. I'm actually ashamed to be British. I'm either going to have to buy an Ireland shirt and I look a bit weird in an India shirt. It's not being racist, but I'll have to get an Ireland or Kiwi or South. No, I'm not pretending to be South African, even though I can't do the accent. It's just an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment to be British now. We have let these filth in off the boats. They are filth. Look at the videos. Yes, there may be one or two genuine cases. I'm sorry. This is a national security threat. We have a situation now where if we do not stop this very soon, we will have lost control if we have not already. Goodbye.